Hiya! Welcome! So this is a video response to Richard McCook's latest and apparently final set of 10 questions that he's posing to the vinyl community video makers here on YouTube. He's done 2 of these sort of thread type things. I don't know if he classes this as a thread, but a lot of people make video responses, so it's kind of like a thread. Over the past couple of years, when I was checking my YouTube history, my response for part 2 was put up about 10 months ago. Yeah, the best part of a year at least was my last 10 questions answered for Richard. And he's done 10 more. He says he's not doing any more of these videos. Got 10 interesting questions here. I want to tackle them. So let's just get started with question 1 on the iPad here. Do you ever struggle to come up with ideas for videos? At the moment, no, not really. I may do one day. I don't expect that I'm just going to have an unlimited and bottomless supply of good ideas. I mean, with me being what I would consider more of a variety channel than strictly vinyl community, that does give me a little bit more scope, but even so, the majority of my work on YouTube now is music related and music collecting related. I've started doing a lot of album ranking videos recently, and I'd like to keep going with those for all the artists who I've definitely got all of their studio albums by, which isn't a massive amount, but there's still some more that I can choose from, and you'll be seeing some more of those on the channel in due course. I think I'll always think of something. I like doing things where I'm able to put bits of trivia up. Of course, I do my Top of the Pops reactions, which can keep going while ever I've got access to a massive archive of Top of the Pops episodes, which I have. Although they're quite hard work to edit and they take a while to get finished, I do enjoy them. They're my most popular regular series on my channel by far. So I think, even if I had to resort to just doing those and not much else, although it's not a new idea, it's something that would keep the channel going, certainly. I always like to think of new ideas, though. I'm always planning ahead and thinking, oh, well, what could go up on the channel next week? What day should this go on? What day should that go on? Etc, etc. So I would never say that there won't become a point where one day I'm just creatively barren, but at the moment I don't tend to struggle for ideas for videos. If I am kind of having trouble thinking, I'll just kind of do something else and sleep on it, and then usually the next day I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do such and such. Right, number 2, if purchasing subscribers was an option, would you partake? No, not at all. You can purchase subscribers. It's actually against the YouTube terms of service. No, I'd never do that. Why? What would be the point? Anyone who can't get monetized, especially. I mean, I'm on Patreon, but I wouldn't waste what small amounts of money come in from my patrons on buying fake subs. It's all bot accounts, and it's technically against the rules of YouTube anyway. So it's an easy one for me, that. No, I'd never do that. Don't see the point. I know that some particularly bigger channels have done that or are alleged to have done that in the past. That's just stupid as far as I'm concerned. I'd never do that in a million years. Number 3, do you like to mention how much you paid for your records? I have done. I do that quite a lot. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes when I'm doing a records roundup video, I'll intend to mention, oh, this record or this CD or whatever it is cost such and such an amount, and I'll completely forget. And if I forget, I won't normally, unless it's something really unusual, like a really low price or a really high price, put it up on screen. But generally, if I remember to, I will say, well, this cost such and such an amount. Not to show off that A, I've got a load of money, because I haven't, or B, I've found a brilliant bargain, because I don't find that many brilliant bargains. I just do it as sort of like part of the information that I'm giving, really. Maybe if someone else is interested in the album or the single that I've shown, but they're unsure what's a kind of good price to pay, if they've watched me and I've said, oh, it cost £15 from such a place, I think that was a really good deal, then they might be like, oh yeah, that is a good deal, I might look there and see if I can get that myself. I like to think it's a bit helpful. It's a force of habit more than anything. I don't have to tell people, oh, I spent this much on that, but I just do it without thinking, really, is the answer to that. Question 4. Are there genres of music you really don't like and would never show on your channel? Well, you and I have got at least one thing in common here, Richard. I don't think I'm ever going to show any jazz on this channel. Jazz just does nothing for me. I know there's a lot of people in the vinyl community who get a right chub on for it, but I'm not one of them, never will be. Have I really given it a massive chance? No. I mean, you hear it out and about, like you hear sort of like smooth jazz in restaurants and stuff like that, don't you? But that's not really actively listening to a jazz record, is it? It's not making the effort to really immerse yourself in the sound and the genre. But he just does nothing for me. There again, similar to Richard, I'm not particularly interested in blues. A little bits of it, yeah, maybe kind of blues rock as you get on towards the Stones and other acts from the 60s onwards, but generally, no, they're the two, particularly jazz, that I think it's highly unlikely, probably entirely very unlikely, you'll ever see me cover on this channel. Question 5. When watching other people's videos, do you ever flick through the video until you find an artist shown that you like? Yes. If someone's put up a video and it's relatively short, my definition of a shorter video, not a YouTube short, we'll get onto those later, but a shorter video for me is like 15 minutes or under. I'll tend to watch it all the way through, especially if it's a channel who I'm a big fan of, who I really like, and I just find them engaging on camera and things like that, or they just make consistently interesting content, either they're showing a bunch of albums or records or whatever that I'm not a fan of and wouldn't ever buy. I'd be like, well, this was an interesting video, I was entertained by it. But if there's a longer video, you know, kind of getting on 20 to 30 minutes or even more, and maybe I'm short for time, or maybe it's a channel who I like to support, but I don't always find everything they say and do to be of utmost interest. And I'm not going to name names. I mean, I couldn't think of a name like that offhand, because generally most of the channels I watch regularly, you know, I'll watch from start to finish, as I said. But I'm sure there's people who feel the same about me. It's like, oh, he's going on about Italo Disco again, or he's going on about Eurodance again, let's skip that. And I totally get that, you know, certainly I know what I do is definitely not for everyone. But I like to think that when I'm doing a records roundup, then you might see something that you're interested in and you might be pleased that I'm talking about it. For longer videos, I might sometimes skip on, fast forward past something that I'm not interested in, so that I can watch something I am interested in sooner. Number 6, what are your thoughts on shorts? Well, presumably that's not the cut-off trousers that Richard's referring to, but rather YouTube shorts. Honestly, my opinion on YouTube shorts is I don't like them. I think it was a cynical marketing thing from YouTube because TikTok was getting so popular that they had to kind of compete in that market space and start pushing these little 15 to 60 second clip vertical orientation videos that are popular on TikTok and I suppose Instagram as well. Maybe it's me being an old fart about it, but just I don't get it really. It's not to my taste, especially for channels like in the VC. The vinyl community really is for people who want to talk about records. Well, how much talking can you do in a minute or under? I don't like them. I might be a little bit of a hypocrite here because I've done them, but I've done them for certain reasons. Like, for instance, if I've had an idea just for something silly, maybe a little bit of a piss take at someone in a friendly kind of way, but I know it's not an idea that'll fill up more than maybe 30, 40 seconds or so, I'll put it out as a short, but I won't promote it, won't really give it much thought after I've made it. Yeah, I understand that those sort of really small, quick videos are easy to do, although Richard says that because he doesn't use his smartphone for video making, that they're not easy for him. But Richard, you said you wanted to do shorts and you like the idea of doing them. I find the whole thing completely overrated, mate. I think you, like pretty much anyone in the VC, is better off just doing what I would call standard form vinyl community videos, really. So yeah, I've made a couple of shorts. I know they're only going to get more popular and bigger, and I'm kind of pissing in the wind really, just saying, oh, we should be doing longer videos, when most people, often for time constraints, and I get that, but for whatever other reasons, could be laziness, you know, I'm not going to beat around the bush, people are going to be doing more and more shorts as the platform gets bigger. It's just a shame that YouTube, which has always for me been a long form video platform, you know, long form being, well, anything from kind of 5 minutes upwards really. I know you get videos that are shorter than that, like music videos and things like that, promos, but generally if I put YouTube on, it's because I want to be entertained for an extended period of time. I don't just want to get my iPhone and watch something for 25 seconds that was badly edited and is in portrait mode and things like that. It's just a TikTok copy to me, and as far as I'm concerned, anyone over the age of 30 who's using TikTok regularly needs to pack it in because it's cringe. Right, moving on before I really got my soapbox over shorts. Number 7, do you use the community tab for polls, etc.? I've never posted a poll on the community tab. I will use the community tab now and again. I probably should use it more. For me, it's like a promotional tool, and I do the bulk of my promoting on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook in relation to my channel, that is, of course. Sometimes I'll think, oh, this should go on the community tab, like if I'm trying to promote a friend on YouTube, another channel, or if I'm just trying to drop a hint about an upcoming video. Maybe I'll do a poll one day, I don't know what about, and I don't know if anyone would be bothered voting in it if I did. So I've got nothing against the community tab. I think it's a good idea. I do like that more recent innovation from YouTube, unlike the bleeding shorts. Yeah, I probably should try and use it a bit more. I don't lose any sleep over the fact that I don't use it that often. Question 8, is there anything about your own videos that you don't like? This is where I've got to be really self-critical, which should be easy, really. One thing about myself, and even now, while I'm filming this, I'm like, well, yeah, this needn't be this verbose and this long-winded. I think some of my videos, I take too long talking about something. I could just show an album, say, this is the title, this is the artist, it costs such a price from such a place, haven't listened to it yet, oh look, it's a coloured record, move on to the next one. I wouldn't be comfortable with myself doing that, but I know sometimes it's more appropriate to do that, because otherwise you're kind of standing around for 5-10 minutes talking about one record or one album or whatever that I've not listened to yet, but because of the excitement that I'm adding it to my collection and the excitement that I'm filming a video and I'm able to share it with all of you, then it just makes me want to talk about it more and more. So I kind of need to try and, in the moment, know when to shut up, really. As far as the look and the aesthetics of my videos, I'm relatively happy. You know, I think improvements could always be made, and if people want to leave their comments in the comments section without being too insulting as to what they think I could improve relating to my video making here, then please do. Yeah, for me, my main thing that I'm always conscious of when I'm editing, and I try to edit out a lot of waffle that I do, but even so, a lot still remains in the final edit. So just be grateful that I don't release videos unedited like I know certain video makers do, because you really would have a torturous time then with me stumbling over my words and spending 20 minutes on some Eurodance artist or something. Right, number 9, the penultimate question. Is there anything about other people's videos you don't like? The way Richard answered this was more like a kind of, he wasn't singling out anybody as such, I don't think, but just like any sort of YouTuber cliches, I think, really, that certain video makers would do. I mean, I touched upon it in part 2 many months ago. I'm not a fan of people asking you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If I'm watching you, and I'm watching you regularly, then I think that's a pretty good indicator that I have subscribed. So don't keep asking me. I know it's not me directly, just roll with me here. And hitting the notification bell, that's right up there with YouTube Shorts, really. It's just something completely pointless and, for me, useless and annoying. So that's the kind of YouTuber cliche. I wouldn't say there's too many in the vinyl community who are guilty of asking for subscribers every time and asking people to turn on the notifications. I think that's really more of a phenomenon for other type of video makers, really, who aren't necessarily relevant to this set of questions. Can't really think of anything else offhand that any general YouTubers do. Most of the people, nearly all of them in fact, you know, they entertain me. I like them, I like watching them. I'm just happy to support them. If they have little quirks or unusual things, then so be it. I know I do, certainly. I'm not even going to go into them because you know the weird things and the sort of habits that I have. Even if I could change them, you know, whether I'd want to or not, I don't know. So that's all I'll say on number 9. And the final question, question 10 of 10. If you would stop making videos, would you A, shut the channel down completely, B, keep the videos up or keep them live, or C, make the videos private? And would you make an announcement that you would no longer be making videos? No, I wouldn't shut my channel down. Yes, I'd keep the videos up because that's a body of work for me. I do make an effort with these videos, and I know the effort varies depending on who you are, how much time you've got. But for me, if I'm putting a video out, even if it's one that's relatively basic like this one, I'll still want to do some editing, put my intro on, put a few graphics where appropriate, usually near the end, for like my social media and Patreon screen and things like that. So I don't want all that work just to suddenly disappear, because there'll be people many years from now, maybe even after I've gone, who might discover one of my videos, and I like that notion. It comforts me somehow that my body of work here on YouTube will hopefully outlive me. I think that's quite a nice and reassuring thing, really. So I wouldn't keep them private, I wouldn't delete them. I think that'd be just a complete waste. It'd be like throwing your life's work down the toilet for me, doing that. Would I make an announcement that I'd be no longer making videos? Well, I don't ever envision a day, touch wood, that I won't be making videos on YouTube, particularly music related and VC videos. I do agree with Richard that if people do that, it kind of comes across like the attention seeking. I would only make like a public announcement, like I'm stepping back from YouTube because I was really poorly or something, and I knew that I was going to get worse and I wouldn't be capable of making videos, at least not to the standards that I set for myself. Otherwise, if I just decided I'd had enough of it one day, I would just kind of disappear quietly. But if I'd planned to stop because of illness or something, and I thought it was right that fellow YouTubers and friends here should know the reason why they're not watching me anymore, I would do that. But I wouldn't just do it to seek attention, like, oh, I'm stopping, this is my final declaration kind of thing. No, I wouldn't do that. So there we are. That is 10 final questions, apparently final, unless Richard thinks of 10 more next year, for the vinyl community and all the video makers of it here on YouTube. I want to say thank you for watching. Special thanks, of course, not only to Richard for setting these questions, great guy. I'll, of course, leave a link to his third 10-question video at the top of the description. I also want to say special thanks to my wonderful subscribers and my generous patrons. Please see not only Richard's video in the description text box, and give him a sub as well. Yes, I know I'm not one for asking to subscribe, but I do encourage people to subscribe to friends of mine. Give him a sub, and then further on down in the description is all my usual referral links, as well as a link to my Patreon and Facebook group. I'm going to go now, and I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next vinyl community thread response, video response, whatever this may be. Video. I've said video a lot, haven't I? Cheers, everyone. See ya!